Good afternoon and good morning. This is Ashley Kimball of Loyalty 360, welcoming you to another episode of our Loyalty 360 Leaders in Loyalty series. In this series, we talk to brand leaders about what they're seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer, channel, and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Jodi Boyce, Executive Vice President of the fast casual Denver-based teriyaki shop, Teriyaki Madness, a fast casual Asian restaurant concept featuring a Seattle teriyaki menu with nearly 95 locations in the US. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today, Jodi.
Thanks for having me.
All right, great. It's great to have you. And so we'll get started off with our first question. Can you give us a quick history on Teriyaki Madness and all that you offer?
Absolutely. So Teriyaki Madness actually started back in 2003. It was two brothers and a cousin who were living up in Seattle, and in Seattle, teriyaki's on every corner. It's like Chicago hot dogs and New York pizza. So they saw the need that there was needed to be teriyaki on every street corner. And so they were living in Las Vegas and brought the teriyaki concept down to Vegas. So they started it back in 2003 and started franchising shortly after. Michael, our CEO, got involved about 8 years ago, more on a consulting basis, and he purchased the company 5 years ago. And so that's why we're in Denver now. And we've been much like a startup for the last, probably the first 3 or 4 years of him owning it, even though we'd been around for a while. So really building the systems and processes. And now we're just taking off like crazy. So we serve huge bowls of high quality meats and rice and noodles and fresh veggies, and everything's made to order and customizable, really simple menu to navigate, and above all, the food is amazing. It just tastes really, really good. So that is the history of Teriyaki Madness, and we're going like crazy.
That's awesome. And like I told you before we started this off, I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'm going to have to drive an hour and a half to get there, but I'm all in for it. And they have gluten-free options. So I'm excited to try it. It sounds
awesome.
Fantastic. And
it's worth it.
Great.
It's definitely worth it.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little more about yourself and all that you do at Teriyaki Madness?
Sure. So I grew up in California, went to school here in Colorado, and then my first job out of school was driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile around the country for a year. So that's my only claim to fame, but it was great. It launched me into the food industry and into marketing. It's, driving a 27-foot hot dog is awesome, but it really was all about PR and marketing and grabbing some attention around the US. So came back to Denver, and my whole career has been in restaurants and franchising several brands. And so when I met Michael and learned about Teriyaki Madness, I absolutely wanted to be on board. It was everything consumers said that they want, with the chicken options and healthier and gluten-free options and delicious food, simple menu, all the right pieces. And so I've been at Teriyaki Madness now for about 4.5 years. And my role is basically anything that drives revenue. So finding all new revenue streams, creating our gift card program and launching our app and online ordering and our loyalty program, and finding what is that next big piece of the puzzle.
Awesome. Well, it's so exciting to be on the ground floor of something like that and building something like that. And also, I have never spoken to anyone else ever in my life who has driven the 27-foot hot dog. So that is quite the claim to fame.
It is. Still bring it up. Got to bring it up forever.
It has to be your party conversation starter for sure.
It absolutely is.
So in 2019, you all launched a robust loyalty program. So it allows customers to accrue points with every purchase. Can you give us a little more information about the program?
Sure. So when I first started at Teriyaki Madness, we didn't have any kind of form of online ordering or an app or anything. And so we actually launched that piece of it in 2018 and purposely didn't launch the loyalty part until a year later. We wanted shops to get used to all the additional orders coming in through online and the app first. smooth that out, and then add loyalty. So we added our loyalty program in July 2019, and we chose to go with a pretty simple, straightforward program using points. So you get 4 points per dollar for regular orders, and you get 1 point per dollar for catering orders. And then your points add up, and you can unlock different redeemables. We have 6 different levels. So you can use it, if you have a few points, you can use it for a free drink, or you can save them up for that free bowl of teriyaki. And when we started, we only had 30,000 members just from emails. It was just our email database. And we just got our results from 2020, and now we're at 217,000. So
Wow.
we've seen tremendous growth, and that was an 88% increase just from 2019, from the numbers that we had grown from that 30 originally. So we're seeing huge growth, and people are really responding well to it.
That's amazing. Yes, and I noticed you're opening up a lot of new shops as well. So it looks like growth all around for you.
Absolutely, yeah. We opened 30 locations in 2020. We were slated to do more, but a little difficult in a pandemic.
Yeah.
But 25 of those 30 that we opened were during the pandemic.
Wow, that must have been an interesting experience.
It was definitely interesting, and we weren't sure how it was going to go, and they ended up being the highest openings we've had.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely amazing. Well, it's a concept that works with even when you have the situation where you need to do it carry out, right? So
absolutely.
So that's awesome. So recently, you augmented the loyalty and rewards program. What else did you add to the program, and what goals did you have for the improvements that you made?
So we did a few things. We just rolled out an app update yesterday with a few intentions. One is to just make the ordering process a little bit more seamless for the customer. It's pretty easy to use now, but the easier we can make it, the more people are going to use it. The other piece is that with the pandemic, we launched curbside. So we had a lot of technology already in place, which we were very thankful we already had that. So we didn't have to pivot much. We just had to crank it up. And so we had the access to curbside previously. We just didn't have a use for it. Now we have curbside, and it's growing to be a big part of our business. So one of the app rollout updates is now when you order curbside and you pull up to the shop to get your food, you can open the app and just click, I'm here. And it's going to send an alert to the shop. You don't have to call, and they'll come and run out your food. And so our vision for the future is to keep enhancing that technology using geofencing and other tools to where eventually our vision is to be running the food out while the car is pulling up. So that it's, a 30-second transaction is what we hope for.
Then that would truly be fast casual, right? Very
exactly. Yep.
Very fast casual.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you've already told me a little bit about some of the successes that you've had, with the loyalty program and signing up so many more members. But are there any other successes with the loyalty program that you want to highlight?
Absolutely. We also just pulled our numbers from pretty much from quarter 3 and 4, and even a little bit in quarter 2 from 2020. And our loyalty members are spending 16 to 19% more than our non-loyalty members. So for us, that was all the proof in the world that we need to get as many people as we can using our loyalty program because they're spending more. And theoretically, they're coming in more often, and we're measuring those numbers as well. And our revenue growth in 2020 was 145% more than 2019. So overall, it's proving itself to be a huge piece of our revenue driving goals for the future. And now, we're trying to show that to our restaurant owners so that they understand the value of convincing customers to download the app or create an account.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot of conversations with brands about, really getting it through with your frontline employees because they're some of your best advocates.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So there's a lot of discussion about emotional loyalty in the industry today. What does emotional loyalty mean to your brand, and how do you measure it?
So we always say we take our food seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. And if you get to know our brand and even check out and follow our Facebook page, we have a really fun brand voice. It's a little irreverent. It's a little edgy. I like to have fun with it, and that is a big piece of our emotional tie. You know, with so much craziness and seriousness in the world today, it's just really funny. Some of the stuff I see, I still laugh at, and my team came up with it, and I see it, you know, a year later, I'm like, that's still funny. So we like to have a lot of fun. You know, we do take our food seriously, but like to be too serious. The other piece of it is that we're 100% franchise owned. So all of our shops are owned and operated by individual small business owners. And right now, that's really important. They have really strong ties to their communities. We do a lot of fundraiser type events or anything involving the communities where they are. And so that's an emotional tie in itself. A lot of people are trying to support local businesses. And even though we're a chain and we support our franchisees with the programs and processes, they are local business owners and they're running their own shops locally. So that's another big piece of the emotional tie.
Absolutely. Yeah, when they're tied to the community like that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your members have an emotional or passionate connection to your brand? And do you think these types of passionate or emotional connections help your customer loyalty efforts?
Yeah, so we've done a few different surveys in the past, and we've done some research where we actually sat down and did some deep dives with 60 different customers for 45 minutes each. And so we really got to know our customer base in different markets. Our loyal customers are extremely loyal to our brand. A lot of that is because it's locally owned, or they feel like they discovered it, you know, in their own market. Another piece of that is our involvement with the community. I believe it was April, or certainly in May, we put out a program during COVID to help hospitals, doctors and nurses, and first responders, where a consumer, anybody, could purchase a teriyaki bar, so almost like a catered event, or a hospital or first responder. They would pay half. We were matching and delivering it to the hospital of their choice. So we were calling every single customer individually and thanking them for their order. That is awesome. Where would you like it to go? And some customers were blown away. Some had a hospital in mind and said, you know, my daughter works at the COVID unit, please deliver it there. And others said, I don't care where you take it to the fire station or whoever needs it the most. So a lot of programs like that, they go a long way. It felt good for everyone. And you know, back in April and May, people just kind of felt helpless and wanted to do something. And so we've done a few programs since then as well. We did a program just to try to help out fellow restaurant workers in the industry who were out of work. And we offered a 4-top meal at a huge discount to try to help people who are really struggling. So I think it's our ties to the community that just go a long way emotionally and get people, you know, attached to a brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome. And that sounds awesome about taking the teriyaki bar to the hospitals. I mean, with everything that everyone was doing there and it continues to do on the front lines there, that's awesome. And just those little things, I think, just show a lot about your brand. So that's fantastic. So there's been a lot of talk about how customers are changing, you know, during COVID and then otherwise as well. They're always evolving. How do you feel customers are changing, and how are you adapting to that change?
So for us, what we've seen, and we don't think it's going away, even when COVID goes away, is convenience. People were forced to use apps or curbside or online ordering, some for the first time, who had never done it before. And so it kind of launched a new segment of consumers into using technology. So technology and convenience are the top areas that have changed. And it's not that they've completely changed, but they've just been so accelerated. And so those two pieces aren't going away. And those are big priorities for us in 2021 and beyond.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people are sitting here going, okay, this is where we thought we were going to be in 3 to 5 years. And here we are, nothing like that for a gas pedal, when you're forced in for sure. Absolutely. And it does seem like people are going to hold on to that desire to have that convenience and that speed too, as well, that they've kind of grown accustomed to now, I guess.
Yep.
Tell us how you're measuring the success of your customer loyalty and experience efforts, and what KPIs do you and your team particularly look at?
We look at a few things. Excuse me. We look at a few things. One of the most telling is the spend. So what our loyalty members are spending versus non-loyalty members. And we know that they're spending 19% more on average. That's really important to us. And then also the participation rate. So now that we have the data and we've discovered, wow, these members who are spending, a lot more on average, we need to work on our participation rate and making sure that that is at least at benchmark with the rest of the system. Our goal is always above that. So we have a lot of programs in place for 2021 to get customers from that first visit to the third visit. A lot of data to show once they have their third visit, they're pretty much locked into your loyalty program.
That's awesome. Yeah. Great. Awesome. Now, what do you see as the next big thing for your brand's approach to customer loyalty? It sounds like you've been doing a lot. What do you see as the next one?
So because it's all about convenience, and we are big believers in technology, we want to be on the front lines of what is the next big thing. Is it voice activated ordering? Is it drone delivery? We're willing to test all kinds of new programs, and we feel like the more convenient we can be and the faster we can get food in people's hands, the more they want to order from us and be part of our ongoing program.
Absolutely. So you see your brand as being different from your competitors. Do you see the same sort of efforts in the competitive set, and what are you doing differently?
So our food is really delicious, and I think what sets us apart, and that it's a little bit of just being lucky with the type of food we serve, is our food travels really well. So burgers and fries struggle because you don't want a cold soggy bun and cold fries, but our food actually holds the heat really well. It steams actually on the way, so sometimes it's even better when you wait a little bit to eat it. So that's one of the pieces. The other is that we believe in technology, and we, as a smaller brand, have invested in the technology early on. And so with COVID, we didn't have to pivot too much. We had to kind of turn it up. And so what it did is it accelerated, like we were saying before, it accelerated all the other brands to kind of catch up, where we felt like we were 3 to 5 years ahead of a lot of brands out there before. Now they're starting to catch up. So for us, it's about looking at what is the next big piece of technology to keep us differentiated from the others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds like you all were well positioned going into this. I mean, who knew that this was going to hit?
I know.
Sounds like you all were positioned well. So as an association, what can Loyalty 360 do for you to help your customer loyalty journey?
Keep sharing ideas. I think, the more that we all share ideas on whether it's technology or best practices on how to increase participation rates, that helps everybody. So keep sharing those ideas and having the forums, and that's going to help us all.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a win all the way around. All right. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, Jodi. I appreciate your time And we look forward to more to come with Teriyaki Madness. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks, Ashley. Thank you.